What's up, y'all? I am finally doing a review on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, everybody has mentioned Real Housewives of Atlanta here and there for me to do a review on. And lately, I've been seeing them all over the blogs, and I'm like, maybe I should. But then someone just mentioned recently you should do your review on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And here we are. I finally got to watch an episode, guys. Now, this is season 16, which means they've been on for 16 years, which is really cool. Um, but I've never watched a single episode. Obviously, I know a lot of the ladies through, social media and things of that nature, just being in the media. So, but I've never watched a single episode. And I finally got to watch it. Lately I've been reviewing Bad Bees only on Now That's TV. And going from that to Real Housewives of Atlanta, I'm like, okay, now this is a little bit more of my speed, but I almost feel like I went from a generation younger than me to a generation older than me. Like, that's just what it feels like. But anyways, I finally got to watch it, and I'm excited to see what happens now. Like I said, I've never watched an episode. I don't know a lot of these ladies' characters, and I feel like I should because it's been on for 16 years. And being that this is the 16th season and watching the first episode of season 16 is, I should have a little background on each lady, but I don't. So you guys may have to fill me in from time to time or correct me if I'm wrong on certain things or the way that I, you know, see some of the ladies. Okay. So without further ado, here's my review on Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode. This first episode opens up with Portia talking about her marriage with Simon. And so she's pointing out all the flaws, everything that he's done, all the disrespect. And then she's like, I just didn't marry who I thought I was marrying. And I'm like, girl, he's African. What did you think? What did you think was going on? Who did you think you were marrying? From my experiences with African men, they all just lie, steal identities, and live double lives. Anywho, like I said before, I've never really paid attention to any of the ladies on this show. But looking at Portia, she is beautiful. Next, we get into Shamia and her $9 million home. And I'm like, this home is fly. Then I'm like, well, what do her husband do? Well, what do she do? Then I'm like, well, what do Portia do? What do any of the ladies on here do? Like now I want to know what is going on. I need the backstory. Like, what do they do? Because $9 million homes, everyone looking good. I want to know what's the tea. Anyway, Shamia's home is beautiful. And what I noticed right away is her big energy and how humble she is. And I'm like, she's really cool for someone who owned a $9 million home. But so far, so good. She starts talking about her husband, and I noticed that she mentioned a Kenyan king. And I'm like, oh, Lord, another African. One thing about Atlanta, if you want an African, you go to Atlanta. Them Africans is there. That's where they at. Then I'm like, I hope Shamia's husband is not a friend of Simon's because, birds of a feather flock together. I don't know. I'm really curious to watch Shamia and her husband's marriage unfold, evolve, whatever it is. I'm just curious to watch Shamia's storyline unfold. They get into her talking about her husband, and it's very clear that Shamia is a talker because she just, I don't know if it was the edit or she really talked that long, but it gave off Shamia is a talker. So that is a mental note of mine. Shamia is a talker. Be on the lookout. Next, we get into Drew, and she starts talking about her divorce from her husband. Then she explains, like, he lives in the basement, and then she got to leave like every 3rd, 5th, or 7th of the month. And I'm like, what the hell are you on? So she explains that Dennis has his own entrance down there. They don't see each other. So he comes and goes from the basement. She comes and goes from upstairs. Then she's talking to Kenya. So she starts telling Kenya how she's working with Dennis. And Kenya's like, Portia's Dennis? And the way Kenya was looking, I'm like, oh, this can't be good, but it's going to be juicy. So Kenya asks Drew, like, do Portia know about this? Like, how does Portia feel about this? And the way Drew's like, yeah, like, I told her, and she's just like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, the way Drew said that, yeah, I'm like, Drew, that's not giving, like, Portia really knows. It wasn't giving, like, real support the way Drew said that Portia said, yeah. But what I did notice is the whole time Drew is talking, Kenya is looking like, girl, you is in trouble. Next, we get into Kelly, and the first thing that catches my eye is she's like, she got 4 girls, and I'm like, 4 girls, God, bro. Prayers up for you, girl. Now, Kelly is another woman that is going through a divorce. So far, it's only Shamia that is still happily married. So Kelly starts talking about her restaurant. She has a restaurant business that she owns called Nana's Chicken and Waffles. Apparently, it's her daughter's 17th birthday. And while they're at this dinner or family gathering, because I didn't see any other teenagers there, I don't know if it was like a family gathering or what, but when it's time for the daughter to blow out the candle and make a wish, the daughter's like, I want a Birkin. And I'm like, oh, this little girl is spoiled. And while it may have been cute, to me, it was giving spoiled. So I don't know what if we got to watch for any mother daughter tension moments or whatever, but it was just the way she said, I want a Birkin, like she's entitled almost. Do y'all agree with me or not? So next, Kelly has some guys or some boys, whatever, bring out gifts for her daughter. So she says that she bought her 17 gifts, and all I saw was Balmain, Prada, Chanel. Like this girl is getting the works. And Kelly's like, well, I after the divorce, I don't want my girls to see me struggling. I want them to know that they can still have whatever they had while I was married. And I'm like, ma'am, 2 purses, 1 purse would have been fine. But you know what? Hell, what do I know? I'm going to keep treating me and mine within my tax bracket. But I just hate to see rich people like throw things at their kids without their kids really earning it. But she did say that her daughter behaves well. She's doing very well. So to each its own. But like I said, I just hate to see kids being thrown a lot of materialistic things and not, and they're just being spoiled. But like I said, I've never watched this show, so I don't even know if the daughter is a part of the storyline, if we watch those moments or whatever. But hopefully we shall see what goes on with this daughter. If the daughter is not in it, then this perspective is null and void. But we shall see. So next, we get back into Portia. And what I noticed this time around is like within 20 seconds, Portia had about three different confessional looks. And I'm like, what the hell, Leon? What the hell? Because I know we don't do that on my show, but I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is lit. I noticed, all the ladies have multiple confessional looks, and all the ladies is eating in their confessional looks, baby. I know I need to set my game up a little bit. Next, we get into Portia telling her, all the stipulations of her divorce, and she's talking to her lawyer. And by the end of the conversation between Portia and her lawyer, I'm like, you overrode everything for the money. You knew what the hell was going on. Especially when she said every time they flew somewhere, she would have to ask him, why are we in the secondary line? Like, you married to him. You had to keep asking why y'all in the secondary line. It's giving, you knew he was an immigrant. You didn't care. Or you knew something was wrong and you didn't care. Girl, you knew that man was lying. You just turned a blind eye to it, girl. And for the type of gifts and trips you was taking, I might have, would have, could have did that too for a little quick second. Like, you'll feel me. But after watching a little bit more, I'm kind of getting Portia's a little, ditzy, like a little blonde. But y'all let me know if my speculation is wrong or not. Now we get back to Shamia, and Shamia is meeting up with a couple of ladies for a dinner. It was Britt and Kelly that she meets up with, and they show Britt's husband. And the first thing I'm like is, baby, that husband look a little. But I don't know. Y'all let me know if my speculation wrong or not. I told y'all this my first season. Y'all let me know. Maybe that just wasn't one of his most masculine pictures. I don't know. Then she's like, look at my 10K wedding ring. And I'm like, well, baby, what you got to do for that? It's giving, I don't know. Y'all let me know. So apparently it's Shamia's birthday. That's why the ladies are meeting up, and Shamia's having a birthday party. So all the ladies are talking about who's invited. And when Portia's name is brought up, Britt like, oh, why she saw that lady man? And I even was like, oh. And Shamia was like, oh. And one thing about it, Shamia nipped that in a butt. Like, she like, y'all can't believe everything y'all hear on the blogs. Like, she was taking up for her friend, and I like that. So then they start talking about Drew dating Dennis. And I'm like, well, Drew just said that they only doing music together. But then I'm like, okay, this is getting juicier. So now I'm like, well, I don't know if Dennis is helping Drew with music or if he's helping her with her JJ. So then Britt reveals that she used to date Dennis back in the day or something, or they went on one date, a first date, and on the first date, he bought her a diamond necklace. So now I'm like, who the hell is Dennis and what the hell does Dennis do besides music? Anywho, this scene ends with Shamia, Kelly, and Britt toasting. They're like best friends. And it was getting very fake because I'm like, how y'all best friends? And y'all was just talking about Portia to Shamia, who is her best friend, taking it very personal that Portia went and took somebody's husband. So now I'm like, I gotta watch this little situation right here. That was very fake. So now we get back to Portia, and Portia meets up with Shamia, and I'm like, oh, is Shamia about to tell Portia what Kelly and them was saying at that dinner? This is about to be good, girl. But they meet up at a strip club, and the way Portia acting like she ain't never been to a strip club, I'm like, now Portia, stop acting like you ain't ever been to no club and you don't know what's going on. So now they start discussing Simon. And of course, Shamia lets it be known what Kelly and them was saying at the dinner, why Portia stole that lady man. So now what I did notice was the way Shamia was saying Kelly and Brixton, like the way she told this whole story to Portia was not giving best friends the way her Britt and Kelly was making it seem. So now I'm like, okay, Shamia is dangerous. We got to watch out for Shamia. So it's giving. Shamia is messy. But then Portia messed around and called Kelly's restaurant a chicken shack. And I'm like, Portia, Portia funny. Like, Portia, why you trying that girl restaurant like that? Talking about chicken shack, not a chicken shack, Portia. But anyways, they start talking about Drew and Dennis. And the way Shamia is explaining it to Portia, she's making it known that it's more than what Portia or the way Drew made it seem like Portia was with it. So it's more than what Portia thought it was. Anyways, I'm ready to get to the Drew party right now because it seems like it's gonna be a lot of addressing, which means it's gonna be very messy, which means this is gonna be very good. Now we get back to Shamia's house. She's laughing, she's singing, having a good time, telling her mom about her birthday party. I'm like, okay, Shamia girl, you could sing. But then they jump to Portia's house and Portia's on the phone getting ready and she's talking to Cynthia. And Cynthia's like, well, how is Drew? She just got a divorce too. And she's like, Portia's like, oh, well, she's doing good, I guess. She got a good support system over there. Dennis been over there supporting her. And Cynthia's like, wait, what? And I'm like, this about to be good. Now we get into Shamia talking to Kelly, and she let Kelly know I felt uncomfortable when you yelled out why Portia took that lady man. Now I thought it was Britt who said it, but apparently it was Kelly, and Shamia's just letting her know, I ain't like that. And she lets her know that she told Portia, to which Kelly is like, oh, clearly you told Portia because she's been all over the blogs talking about it. Kelly reveals she takes what Portia did more personally because she was once, a married woman. And now why I feel like Portia don't owe nobody an explanation, and especially nobody who ain't her friend or ain't in her core circle. She don't owe nobody an explanation. She owes me and us an explanation. Portia need to tell us why she was that girlfriend and took that lady man. So now we at Shamia's party, and in her confessionals, her producer asks her where her husband Gerald's money come from, and I'm like, see now, I like the producer because I want to know where the money come from too. And so she says that her husband manufactures or owns a business that built something in the airport. And I went to Google, but because I don't know exactly what she was saying, Google didn't tell me nothing. All I know is it's something in the aviation department. Anyway, Cynthia is the first to arrive at the party, and then we see Angela and her husband, who is a retired basketball player, Charles Oakley. So Angela, starts talking about her husband. She's like, he's very direct. So there was a little moment in the scene where Angela's like, I'm very hot. And he was like, yeah, all that makeup and all that extra hair, extra makeup and stuff. And I don't know, the way he said it was just something in the way that he said it that I was like, okay, I need to watch his attitude with her and their whole little dynamic. So now Kelly's here at the party, and Kelly and Cynthia are like introducing each other, getting to know each other. They sit down, they're talking, and they're bonding over the fact that they're Pisces. But then Kelly, who doesn't know Cynthia from a hole in the wall, just literally met her, lets on that she had an uncomfortable conversation with Shamia earlier, and she let Cynthia know that, how Shamia felt about Kelly saying, why did Portia steal that man's husband? Now I know that Cynthia just got off the phone with Portia. So now I'm like, let the games begin, honey. But I don't know. It's giving Kelly is taking this situation extremely personal. Like she almost giving off like she got a bone to pick with Portia about a husband that ain't even hers. So now Britt and her husband walk in. So now it's everyone and the two husbands. And I don't know, to me, it's giving like Charles is just there for the check, baby. Well, it's giving both the husbands is just there for the check. Like, I don't know, they just not giving to me. But y'all, like I said, I ain't been watching that long. I don't know these people's personalities or what they've had going on in the past. Y'all let me know if my outlook, my review is wrong. So now the ladies are bonding over who is married and who isn't. And Britt is like, I'm married, and she want to show off her 10K wedding ring, but it's only one ring. So Kenya is like, what, to another husband? And Britt and Kelly took offense to it, but I'm like, it's a legit question. These are professionally married women, okay? They professionally get married. They know you're supposed to have two rings on your finger when you're married, you know? So I'm not a professional married woman. So I had to Google, and yes, a woman is supposed to have two rings. Britt only has one ring on. So Kenya's question was legit. And then here come Kelly and her confessional taking something that ain't got to do nothing to do with her husband, her marriage, or nothing, taking it personal about what Kenya asked. So I'm like, girl, Kelly, go cry me a river somewhere over there. Like, I don't think Kenya was throwing shade. But again, I haven't watched the show, so I don't know her personality like that. Y'all gonna have to let me know that. But I do notice that every time they show Britt's husband, like he just look mad. Like he just looks miserable. Like, I don't know, it's just something about him. Anyway, Shamia pulls up to her party. Everyone greets her, and then everyone's like, where's Portia? Where's Portia? And I'm like, oh, y'all bees better be ready for when Portia come in, because Portia got a lot of addressing to do. Anywho, everyone goes outside, and Shamia's husband gifted her with a Rolls Royce, and I'm like, oh, honey, child, you go, girl. You know what I'm saying? But then Portia makes her grand entrance to the party, finally. And everyone had something to say about her entrance, like, oh, if my friend was getting gifted, I would have stood over here to the side and watched. And even Shamia threw a little shade about basically Portia trying to steal the show. But I didn't see no wrong in the way Portia made her entrance. Yeah, she was late, but I'm sure she'll explain why she was late later. But she greeted her friend. She checked out the car. Like, that's her friend. You ain't like my home, like the other homegirls was off to the side. Portia is your friend. So I didn't see no wrong in the way Portia greeted her friend at her party, but everybody else seemed to feel like she was trying to steal the show. But again, like I said, y'all know more about these people and their personality than I do. I'm just getting to know. I gotta watch everything unfold. Everybody personalities unfold. So Cynthia and Kenya off to the side. Cynthia is giving Kenya, the update on what's going on and how Kelly is mad that Shamia went back and told Portia that she asked why Portia stole that lady's man. So then Kenya goes and talks to Kelly and Britt. But then Portia walks up, and I'm like, oh, honey, the moment we all been waiting for. I really just wanted to see if Kelly was going to keep that same energy, because Kelly is giving very spicy, but for no reason. But Kelly, all friendly, she say hi. She hugged Portia, and I was kind of shocked that Portia, hugged her back and said hi. But anyways, they sit down, and Kelly's first question to Portia is like, yeah, so I asked, why did you take that lady's man? And Portia was like, excuse me, what's your name? And I was like, yo, Portia is the queen of shade, low key. Maybe that's a little like shade, but she ate that, because you don't know Portia, and for that to be your first question, and that's what Portia said. And I understood that, even though Portia did take that lady husband. But maybe she will tell us the real story later on down the line. I'm hoping in this season, next episode. But anyways, Portia brushed Kelly right off, brushed her little questioning off. And in Kelly's confessionals, she feels like she's talking like she's entitled to an answer. And I'm like, girl, you little maggot, go somewhere. Like, I really want to know if Simon's ex-wife, I forgot her name, is like, what, is she a friend of Kelly? Are they like, why is Kelly taking this so personal? Cause she like, oh, answer the damn question. I'm like, why do this girl feel so entitled to an answer? Like, it's given maybe she's mad that Portia was able to get him first before her. Like maybe she was plotting on Simon or something. I don't know, but she's just taking it. What is it? Y'all tell me. Like, she's getting a divorce. Miss Kelly, you getting a divorce. That should be what you're worried about. Anyways, it's a little loud where the ladies is talking at and they can't really hear each other. So they're like, let's go to a quiet place. So they move to a quiet place. And I'm like, child, yes, that Portia about to get in little nosy behind Kelly's ASS. But it don't even go there. The conversation don't go there. It goes to Drew, Shamia telling Drew, oh, I wasn't invited to your party. And Drew was like, well, no one was. And then Portia was like, well, I was invited through Dennis. And then everybody's like, well, how you got invited through Dennis? And then Shamia was like, you know what, Drew, I think it'll be inauthentic for me not to ask you, but are you dating Dennis? And I'm like, girl, I like that. I like the way she said that. Like, it would be inauthentic. That was like the classy way to say, I'm a real bitch and we gonna handle this the right way. And I would be inauthentic. That when y'all hear me say that, mind y'all business. I'm getting classier. But anyways, it caught everybody off guard when she asked that. And I'm like, even me, okay, even though I like the inauthentic side, but I'm really like, Shamia, you should have asked Kelly that since y'all best friends at your dinner. Why you didn't ask her then? But it's still a question that needs to be answered. And this concludes the first episode. Honey, I'm about to go watch episode 2 because I really want to know the answer to her question. And I need more. I need to get to the bottom of this Kelly and Portia thing. Like, I really want Portia to nip this ish in the butt with Kelly. Miss Kelly, like, Anywho, my favorite so far based off of this episode is Kenya, Portia, and Shamia. But y'all let me know if those are good picks. See y'all later.